Hey everyone, I will give people a minute to jump on. We are doing Asana, and I want to make sure it's posting in the Facebook group. Let's see here. It is Thursday. Okay, so if you can see me, say hi, just go ahead and comment. And we will get started in a minute. If you have questions on Asana, let's talk. I am super excited to be here and show you a little bit of behind the scenes, but first I want to get some idea of your questions about Asana and what you'd like to see. I can't show you everything, but I can show you kind of what my dashboard looks like, how I set up filters in my email, and all kinds of fun stuff. So I'll give everybody just a minute more. I'm going to move my screen over here so I am not looking sideways. And awesome. I see a couple people on there, super excited. So hit me with your questions first. I want to know what questions you have about Asana so I can answer those first, and then we can go from there. It's my favorite tool besides Dubsado because it helps me kind of see all of my tasks, keep track of all my projects, and tag things as they come in from emails, just so I have a really clear picture of what things look like and all that fun stuff. So awesome. Let's see here. All right, are we ready to see? Okay, so how I use Asana is to task my team with project tasks. I keep track of all of my projects and say, so I always have a project template for all my projects. So I'm going to go ahead and show you my screen. Let me pull up. Share screen. I tell you, it is Thursday. I can't wait for the weekend. So basically, I have these projects that are templates. So whenever somebody comes through as a new client, I get a reminder. I use Zapier to tell me that I need to create a new project for somebody, and I have this template that's I lost my screen. It's already kind of planned out for all the steps that I need to do in order to do a setup for client experience management, for example. Sometimes I have it tasked to people already, but I have everything listed out so I know what order things need to happen. So I will show you how to assign a client to a board. So what I would do here is I have this template. So whenever somebody new comes through, I would go ahead and I would copy this template. I'm going to copy the project, and I'm going to name it as the client name. Okay. And then if I already have all of the tasks pre-assigned, so if somebody in my organization always does the initial setup, or they do certain pieces of the setup, or they have projects so that they have tasks that they always do for a project, I can assign those tasks in the project template. So when I copy it, it'll keep those assignees as well. I can also have, if I have task followers, if it's connected with other projects and due dates. But for me, for the project, I more want to keep track of all the tasks that need to happen. And then I will assign them as necessary based on my team's current schedule and where they're at in other projects, and kind of look at the whole picture before I start assigning items, because somebody who might be really great at one thing might be available next week, so I have to change the due dates. Alana, I am showing you my account, which is free. So it's a completely free account. I am not using anything expensive or anything like that. It's a free tool, and it makes my life amazing. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and copy this project. And then I'm going to wait for it to kind of do its thing. Let me see if I can find it in my list of projects. Client name. Okay, so now I have the client name, and then I have all tasks. So you see a couple tasks were marked complete, so I have them all tasks. My phone is going crazy. And so now I can go in and assign tasks to myself, to my team member, things like that. You can also sometimes think you can copy and assign them all to one person at the same time. You can assign due dates, right? You can also set a due time. So if you need something done by Monday morning at 9 a.m. so that the next person can do their work, you can assign due dates and times, the same time. And you can also have repeating. So if you have a task where you want to remind yourself to check your Facebook groups once a week, once a day at 9 a.m., you can have a repeating task. So once you mark that complete today, the next day it'll create a new task. So let's see here. So I can assign multiple tasks to one person at a time. I can change the due dates. Cheryl's gonna love me today. And then also I can keep notes here. So I can assign it. I can go into this task. It has a link to the Google folder template that we use. I can tag somebody. Let me move this out of the way. I can tag them with information. I am just testing account. I can assign. I can attach pieces of information either from my computer, from Dropbox, from Google Drive, from Box, or OneDrive. So if I go to my computer, if I go into Google Drive, for example, and I have a new client folder, I can pull that client's folder up. And attach it. And you just want to make sure that the person that you're attaching has rights to that folder. So you always want to make sure that when you create a new folder for a client, you also assign team members to that folder so that everybody can get into it. Now, here I have myself and my team member who I've already started tagging in this top right corner. I can also add other team members, and I can also email people. So if I want a client, for example, to be a part of this organization only, this project only, I can add as a member. And then I can also say that I only want them to comment. So let me see if I have to accept it. And it's loading, it's loading. So I went in here. And then I need to accept the invitation. But I can also say, so here I'm the owner, but I can also have somebody comment only. So if I want my client to see what's going on and kind of be a part of the conversation, but I don't want them like marking things complete or doing anything crazy like that, then you can have them as a comment only. You can also remove people from a project. And then of course you can edit. So I have, Cheryl can edit things and make adjustments, things like that. So you can invite clients by email to this project only, and they can comment only so that they can't make any changes. And they just changed that. So that's where the premium comes in. So the comment only is where you can say that, is where you have the access level of letting the client come in there. But if it's a client and you trust them, they can go in here and make changes, but you can always see whatever's been marked complete or incomplete. And then the thing that would change would just be the thing that would change would just be their access to interact with the tasks and things like that. But if you have a client working with you, for the most part, it's just being able to have that conversation in Asana. So here's what that kind of looks like, okay, which is the task list. I can go into the timeline, which is premium, and then the calendar. So if I have a task due, for example, tomorrow, and I want to assign it to myself, I can go into calendar now. And that task will be there. It'll have my adorable face, and it'll be listed out what that task is, and I can click on that task directly from the calendar. So you can kind of see a calendar view of all of your tasks once you assign them to a date. I can also change this date to a due time. So I want this to be done at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Okay, so now there's a due time. So when I go back into this, I can see 10 a.m. So if I have a bunch of different tasks at different times, I can basically plan out my day based on this project. I can also go into my tasks and my calendar, my own personal view, and see what the tasks are for all my projects. So see here, I have dates assigned to all of these different things. And now I can have a heads-up display across all of my projects, what needs to happen on a certain day. If I have outstanding tasks, I can mark them complete just from this screen. And I can also see what's coming up for me in the next week. Okay? So let's go back to that project. Let's see who else. Client name. Okay, so I have a project template that I copied and pasted. I copied and created for the new client. I have the calendar where I can assign tasks. I can assign tasks to people. I can put in the time and day that they're due. I can see a calendar view of this entire project. And then I can also see all of the other items that are assigned to other people as well. If you have conversations that don't really have anything to do with a task, but you want to keep track of all the conversations for that particular project, you can have them here. And then we're going to say, you know, conversation. And I can tag people as well. I can also tag other projects if there's related projects, like Cheryl, check out this project, for example. Okay. And so you'll see all those tasks. You can add followers to it, and then you will see all the information coming through this project. The other thing about tasks is that as you mark them complete, so see where the progress bar right now is that there's 18 tasks remaining because I've created 18 tasks today. As I mark them complete, it tells me my progress. So let this do its little update. So see here, I see that I now have 3 tasks completed and I have 15 available. Yannick says, is there a way to have tasks in your Asana calendar integrate with Dubsado? If you show your Asana calendar with your personal calendar, it will show up in Dubsado. The downside is I have to look at how the settings are because you want to show availability even though you have tasks in your Asana. But if you're blocking out 10 o'clock in the morning tomorrow to work on a project, it will block out that availability in your calendar, which could be a good thing or it could be a bad thing if you're using a scheduling tool. But if you have Asana attached to your calendar, then and you have the calendar synced into Dubsado, when you look at your calendar in Dubsado, you can see it, but it wouldn't create tasks in Dubsado. I hope that makes sense. And then let's see, also too, you can have this added to your dashboard. So you can have 2 or 3 projects added to your dashboard at any given time so you can keep track of them. You can set a due date for the entire project. And then you can also update status. What I also like to do is if a project, I have different colors for projects. Green is projects doing great. Yellow's projects moving along, but we're probably behind. Red is like we are off track and we are waiting for client for information. So I use these colors because here I see them, and when I have tasks on my calendar, I see the highlight of this particular project. So this one would be red, for example. So in this list, you'll see red, and then on tasks, you'll see red too. So if a task assigned to myself right here, see how it's red? I know that it needs to be kind of picked up the pace a little bit. And so we have the status here. So the status updates kind of follow up as you go. And then you can also remind yourself to update status every week. So it's just nice to make sure that you're staying on task, you're staying on target, and you'll have its status here. And then I always, if I have something where somebody responds to me, I will see a comment here, and then I can, have that little thumbs up so I know that I read it. Even if I haven't marked this to do complete, like there's still tasks that need to be addressed, I can still go in here and let my team member know that I read their email. It's still open and I can respond to them, but at least it still keeps track of the fact that I've actually read that email. Okay. Also, if you have task dependencies, you can add additional tasks to this. So create Google Drive means I need to go into folder and copy, right? But there's a lot more to this task than just do that, right? So I can click on the subtask note here and create a subtask and assign it to myself. And then I can have additional notes and things like that. And then on top of that, I can add even more subtasks within it. So I'll have all these subsequent tasks over and over and over again that kind of all lead into a big task. So I think there's one system where you like one task is broken up into many tasks. Asana lets you do that. You just kind of have to follow the rabbit hole down. You can also assign dates here, and you'll also see it right here, because this was due yesterday, for example. So then now I'm going to change the date. I have a subtask. It's been assigned to me as well, and then I have all of these different things. And that's a subtask of another task. And you can also copy this URL and put that somewhere else. So if you wanted to follow this task to keep an eye on what's going on, as long as you're in Dubsado and logged into Asana, you can just see this particular task. So it helps you stay focused if you're working on a bunch of different things, or if you just want to keep track of certain tasks that maybe your team member is working on, you can just follow that specific link and just see a set screen of just that task. Okay. Alana, I would get back to your question about Asana and Google Drive. You can't necessarily zap. I haven't tried zapping folders into Asana yet, so I can look into that before we do our Zapier intensive. But I will look into creating some type of how that matches up with zapping Google Drives. Okay. So let's see. One other thing I wanted to show you, if anyone doesn't have any other questions or just watching me do my stuff. So here, you can add the name and description. You can add it to your dashboard. You can use the URL. You can copy the project. You can set the highlight color. You can also export these tasks as a CSV and upload them to a new project in Asana. So I can import or export. So if you have a list of all the tasks that you need to do for a project, you can upload them and turn them all into tasks. For every row, you have a new task, and then you can also export. And then here's where you see that sync to calendar option. You can sync this project only to the calendar or all of your tasks to a calendar. But here you go to sync to calendar, and then you add this calendar to your Google Calendar. I don't know of other calendars. Oh, well, there's iCal, Outlook, and other calendars. You can use this URL, but here you can just add this as add this calendar by URL, and it'll show up in your Google Calendar, which then you sync into your Dubsado calendar. Okay. So that's the calendar. The last piece is adding tasks by email. This is the genius of what I like to work on with Dubsado. I use Dubsado a lot. This is the genius of working with Asana, is that I can add new tasks to this project every time somebody emails me. So whenever I get an email from a client and it needs to go into this project, I pick up this lovely email, and then I go into my I can use words, I swear. Go into my Gmail, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a filter. Okay, so anytime somebody emails me on a specific project, it's going to go ahead and get tagged into this project, and it's also going to be assigned to me as a task. So then I can assign it to somebody else if it's not really for me, but it'll show up in like my tasks, my inbox in Asana. So here we go. Okay, I'm going to go into my settings, and so I have that URL, or that lovely email address. I'm going to add a forwarding address in settings under forwarding and IMAP. Add a forwarding address. I'm going to add that Asana. It's not the right one. I'm going to pick up this email address. I'm going to go back into Asana. I'm going to add that forwarding address and then proceed. I'm going to go back to Asana. Now, the caveat with this is that you have to be a member of this project. So you have to make sure that the email address you're forwarding from is a member of this project in order for this to work. Okay. Once I put in that information from into my Google Gmail, I got this confirmation code. It came in as a task to this specific project. I'm going to go ahead and pick up this confirmation code. And then I'm going to go back into my Gmail. And that one was 410. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to verify. And then now that forwarding address exists. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell my filters in my Gmail account that anything that comes from GenRed2 and it comes to me, and then I'm going to have it filter directly into that project in Asana. Okay, and then I can also categorize it. I can also label it. So I can label it to current clients, for example. And so whenever that email comes, I'm going to have it skip the inbox so it doesn't come into my inbox. I'm going to apply the label clients, and I'm going to forward it to Asana so it tags that project and creates a task for me. And I'm going to have it not go directly into that label, so I'm not seeing it, and then it becomes a task in Asana, so I don't have to really touch it in my email until it's time for me to reply to that email if necessary. So I'm going to create that filter, and then I'm going to go on my phone. I'm showing you my screen again. I am going to email myself from my Gmail account. I'm going to give it a second, and you're going to see that task show up. What's up, bud?
Could you put in the game on my tablet?
Can I do it in a few minutes? Okay.
I could stay on this place for a couple more minutes, okay?
Okay, Buggy, thank you. That was my bug. And you will see, here's that email coming from me. It gets assigned to me automatically, and it gets tagged into that project. Is that cool or what? And it also shows up in my tasks here as test. So it's in my heads up dashboard, and it's also in that project. So every time somebody emails me, it gets sent to the project. I have all that email, and if I need to, I can assign it to somebody else. I can give them a due date and be like, here's the information you were looking for. And then I can also edit the email if necessary, if they don't need to see everything. So now I'm able to stay out of my inbox. I'm able to automatically categorize clients, client emails into their project so that all lives in their project. And I'm also able to assign tasks easily because I can just go through my task list in the morning and assign as necessary. Is that cool or what? So let me make sure I didn't miss anybody's questions. Talks about calendar integration. Juanita says she's been using Asana for years and you're not using it to the fullest. I hope this helps you see a little bit more about how to use this for projects. I will look, Alana, about the Asana in Google Drive. So if I have an answer for you, I'll go ahead and I'll message in the group and tell you. And I think you see some of the cool things. Anybody else have any other questions before I hop off? Okay, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much. I am looking to do some more Asana training and some more cool Asana things the next month or so. So if you have any questions about Asana, or if you're catching this on the replay, go ahead and put replay. You can also tag me in questions so that either I can answer them in the group or I can start building out what kind of training you guys might be interested in. So thank you all for hanging out with me today. I hope this has been helpful and you can kind of see the cool things that you can do with Asana. I love Asana. It's my favorite thing in the entire world. And this is just the tip of the iceberg, but it definitely helps me keep on track, helps me be able to delegate on a timely manner because it's hard to be the bottleneck in your own business. And it also helps you better understand where you're at on all your projects, know what you're doing, all that fun stuff. So with that, I will talk to you guys later. Have a great Thursday, and I will see you soon. Let's get out of here.